Okay, here it is, guys. Big news, breaking Israel news. Exclusive. Burning of the red heifer takes place in preparation for the third temple. Oh my goodness, there's an altar. There's a cow on it. Okay. This is the red heifer sacrifice. Guys, this is the actual sacrifice. There's a dead animal here. They're saying this is an experiment. Let's read the article. We had rumors of this, but now we have a source giving us more detail. All right, let's take a look at it. We're going to move quickly. This is Numbers 19. It talks about the red heifer offering. We're not going to get into details. We have other videos. I'll post other videos on the red heifer. So if you don't know what it is, watch, study, learn, become educated. Okay? A major step was taken towards the reinstating of the temple service. It's not just a step, guys. This is a actual offering. You can see a dead animal. Okay? It's an offering. After an extensive study into the practical details of an actual heifer, howbeit not a red one, was burned in precisely the manner that will enable the Jewish people to be purified. Okay, we have the commandment. Okay, this is in Numbers 19. Again, we're not going to get into that. We're going to get into more of the details of the article. I will sprinkle you with clean water, and you shall be clean, and I will cleanse you from all your uncleanness. Ezekiel 36. All right, the red heifer is not a sacrifice per se, as burned in the area outside of the temple on the Mount of Olives. According to Jewish tradition, there have been 9 red heifers since the mitzvah, or commandment, was given on Mount Sinai. The 10th red heifer will be used in the area of the Messiah. So what they're saying in the Jewish writings, there were 9 red heifers that were offered. The 10th one would be at the time of the Messiah. Okay? The last red heifer was prepared in the high priest Ishmael ben Piavi around 60 CE, and its ashes were sufficient for the next 300 years. Science meets the Bible. Okay, now this is the professor. Now I'd heard about this, but now we got the details. Okay, here's the professor. He's overseeing this, working with the Temple Institute. Okay, he reported at a Temple Institute conference in his studies and the practical details reinstating the commandment of the red heifer. Professor Al-Nan has been involved in various areas of the research that link the Torah and science. His approach to this is to harness contemporary research techniques with the scholarship of Jewish studies. The burning of the red heifer is a biblical commandment that was performed at the end of the Second Temple period. This is a rare ceremony that took place once in several generations, and the ashes were used to prepare sanctified water that granted ritual purification. Historical sources indicate the practice of the purification using the ashes of red heifer continued into the 4th century CE. The details of the burning of the heifer and the method of preparing the ashes appear extensively in the sources, Jewish sources. Therefore, the subject has only been studied theoretically. But the professor explained that he conducted research in cooperation with the Temple Institute and simulated an experiment of burning a red heifer was conducted to investigate several research questions, such as how much wood is required to burn a red heifer completely with ashes, the remainder of the burning. How is it possible that the ashes from one heifer, as it appears in sources, can supply ritual purposes for many years? One of the models that were used to build experiment programs were the rite of cremation, which is conducted on the day in India and Nepal. The designs of the entire experiment took many months, and the implementation itself carried out from the eye of the public and the media. Only after the analyzing the results did it become possible to publish it. This is why we're just hearing now. In the course of the experiment, all the specifications mentioned in the sources were reconstructed, beginning with the excavation of a wine press, a rectangular pit which was built to dry the wood, the oak, the pine, the fig trees. For the purpose of the experiment, a pure sick heifer was selected of a certain breed, which was prevalent in ancient Israel. He emphasized that the heifer used in the experiment is not red. The purpose of burning lasted some 9 hours, and the heifer's ashes, together with the wood used to burn it, yielded several tons of kilograms of ashes. It emerged that the amount of ash needed to prepare the ritual ashes emergence about sprinkled over the water. Okay, based on the amount of ash obtained, and the investigator proposed a theoretical model to calculate how many instances of sprinkling the water this amount could actually yield. This is a groundbreaking study in historical significance because there has been no investigation into the practical implementation of the laws since the destruction of the temple. The experiment was designed to check the amount of ash produced and whether it would be enough to purify every Israelite living today. Okay, and here's a kind of demonstration of the people. See, they're up on the Mount of Olives, okay, and then across, you got a road that's going across over into the temple here. You can see there's the temple. These are all the people, and here is the red heifer on a wood altar. Okay. All right. According to the professor's research, the average amount of ash produced in the pine. Okay, we got some details, some specifics. You can have more time to read all that. It's talking about the wood. A continuous and extensive fires is required since the red heifer must be completely consumed, bones and all. In this respect, it's similar to the cremation customs of Nepal and India, which have been conducted for thousands of years, even until today. His research concluded that in order to burn a heifer weighing 100 kilograms, 1/2 ton of wood is required. Okay, the details of building. Okay, building the pyre, burning the heifer. There are still several elements that are verified before the actual ritual can be performed. The Temple Institute is still investigating the precise location where the red heifer is burned. Now, guys, the Mount of Olives is in East Jerusalem. That's a Palestinian. I mean, it's Palestinian areas. So for the purpose of the experiment, a trough was carved into a bedrock, 2 meters in length and wide and such deep. The pyre or the altar, I think when they're saying pyre, they're talking about this wood pyre, was constructed in a manner described in the oral Torah. Okay, so the Jewish writings kind of describe some of this. For the trowel burning, the preppers used logs and everything. Okay, the actual tower, a cow weighing such and such amount. Okay, the cow was lifted into the pyre. The experiment was carried according to the strictest details of the ritual, with the head of the cow towards the south and the legs facing west. I mean, wow, so much detail. When the experiment began, the fire spread quickly, and within 1 hour, the belly of the cow collapsed. Okay, wow, guys, this is happening. Okay, in addition to the heifer, there were this is the amount of wood that was used. I mean, this is amazing. And now what they're saying is billions of Jews can be purified. The next stage of the experiment was to determine how many people for the ash. Okay, and for a barrel, I mean, this is amazing. So they've determined the number of people from the ash that can be purified. The ritual purification requires only 1 drop to be sprinkled on each person or object. The purpose of the experiment used bunches of 3 branches of common hyssop dipped into the center meat of the water. And again, guys, you can read all the details in Numbers chapter 19 of the offering. On this basis, the professor determined the kilograms and the sprinkling, at least 660 billion sprinklings. He also noted that it is permitted to add wood. Each additional ton of wood would permit an additional 250 billion sprinklings. Wow. This is amazing. One step closer, but still in God's hands. All right, Rabbi Azariah Ariel has been charged with overseeing the research from the red heifer by the Temple Institute. In order for us to perform this mitzvah or commandment, we need a kosher red heifer to be born. Breaking Israel News. He told Breaking Israel News, this is in the hands of God. We know that this is rare, but we don't have the statistics to guess how rare it actually is. And this is rare, talking about finding a ritually pure red heifer, which they have several candidates. See what they say here. I could receive a phone call later today that a red heifer has been born, or it will be born in several years. We simply do not know. it's in God's hands. We still do not have a certifiable red heifer. This is a little bit contrary, guys. We can show you other videos where they do. And this is from the Temple Institute, so there's a lot of kind of disinformation here. We currently are checking out 2 calves. Okay, checking out 5 months old. Yeah, so we do know about those, guys. And there are others as well. For them to be considered heifers, as the Bible describes, they must be 2 years and 1 day old. There can be no blemish, no holes in the ear. If 2 hairs are not red, the heifer is unfit. There's a lot of issues, the hairs and everything. There's a lot of details about this, okay? This project certainly taught us a great deal, and there was a result of many years of research, and surely as the trial runs, we are ready for the ritual. Okay, so they're saying they're ready, but, I mean, we were showing you they're doing this. They're animals that are dying, okay? That's animal sacrifice. This certainly brought us closer to actualizing the return of the mitzvah, but from our side, the requirement to perform the ritual was established at Mount Sinai, and the mitzvahot, which is commandments, are not optional. We do not wait for them to float down from heaven. As Jews, we must do what we can to perform what God commanded. The Temple Institute in Jerusalem is working for 3 decades to educate the public and to make practical steps toward the third temple. Okay, well, this is already happening. So, guys, thanks for watching. This is part of a playlist on the third temple. But the red heifer, we have a sacrifice of an animal. The animal that was on there was not red, but the animal that was on there was dead.